Okay, welcome everyone. Hello to Hadfield's AGR presentation. My name is Brandy Hart, and I am one of the principals over here at Hadfield, and we will both be present for the Teaching and Learning Committee meeting on the 7th. Here is the agenda of what we'll be looking at today. We'll talk about what is this grant, what strategies in use. We'll look at literacy and math data, and we'll also talk about action plans or action steps for the remainder of the school year. AGR stands for Achievement Gap Reduction. It is a program that was established in 2015-16 with the elimination of SAGE. SAGE allowed class sizes to be small, to allow teachers to be able to connect and meet the needs of varying students. With the AGR grant, it allows participating schools to implement one of three strategies or a mix of those approved three strategies in grade levels, kindergarten through 3rd grade, again, in order to reduce the existing achievement gap. Those options are one-on-one tutoring or intervention. The second option would be instructional coaching for teachers to support for instruction, planning, and then the last one would be small class sizes. Why are we here? We're here because the AGR grant does require board notification twice a year to share both how the grant is being utilized and also to share the current achievement data. The strategies in use at Hadfield, we are using a combination of two of those approved strategies. The first one being instructional coaching. We have two instructional coaches, one focused in the area of literacy, that's Mrs. Rice, and then in math, we have Mrs. Nelson. These two coaches work closely with teachers in kindergarten through 3rd grade, not only in support of instruction and curriculum, but also with intervention with struggling students. So those are the two strategies that we're using, coaching as well as intervention provided by those same above coaches. Today, we recognize instruction. We recognize building a new school, a new community of learners coming together. We have many systems you can see on the screen in front of you that are working together to support instruction, to support literacy, to support math, but also to support the community of learners, including all stakeholders here at Hadfield. We are still part of the PCL, Partners in Comprehensive Literacy. This is practice growing our model classrooms, engaging in thoughtful discussions about instruction, about adult practices, and we're using PD time and team meeting time appropriately for planning and adult learning. I really need to stop and make sure that you know your Hadfield staff faced a bunch of change this school year. The merge of new teams and new students, new curriculum, new classrooms. They are working so hard, and we are incredibly proud of the constant drive to create and improve. We see this every single day in teachers, in student services, assistants, office staff, kitchen staff, our community partners that come in and work with our students, our parents, our custodial team, our coaching staff, and our students. Just everyone involved is invested in growth and success of Hadfield. We are growing together, and we're growing stronger each and every day with all of these many systems working together. Like all schools, we collect leading and lagging data. We design instruction for students in 3 tiers. Tier 1 being the universal, everyone gets it. You can see today I will be showing running record universal data in kindergarten, 1st and 2nd grade. I'll be showing map data in reading in grades 2nd through 5th, and map data in math in kindergarten through 5th grade. I don't have tier 2 data. That's that double dose or extra instruction with teachers. That's your small group differentiated to meet more often. I'm not going to be sharing tier 2 data today, but I will be sharing some tier 3 data directly aligned to the impact of our AGR coaches. These are small groups, these are one-on-ones or two-on-ones, intensive intervention to close the gap in our struggling learners. So here is our running record data currently for kindergarten, first and second grade. Running record is a one-on-one assessment of fluency, comprehension, and accuracy of reading. Our goal for each of these grade levels is to have 50% or more of our students to be reading at or above grade level by the end of the year. You can see that middle column, that mid-year collection date, is in February, and that is the date that we've decided as a district that we collect the running record data. So at this time, I don't have that, but I can share it with you in February if that's something you're interested in. Otherwise, in spring, I will be back to share the whole slide again with you with all those components filled in. So you can see how our teachers and our students are doing both in the February and in the spring. So this is where we are with that one-on-one assessment. I'm going to move to another literacy data point in kindergarten. So in kindergarten, we do what's called a letter or sound assessment. We want to know, do our students know their letters and what sounds they make? Because eventually they need that to be able to read and to write and to, be an early reader. This is our baseline to winter sound assessment. Our phonics instruction teaches children how to decode letters into their respective sounds, and that is an essential skill for kids to read unfamiliar words by themselves. Having that letter sound knowledge will allow children to make the link between the unfamiliar print words to their spoken knowledge. This is helping us progress in reading and writing, really honestly in math and all subjects, and truly the overall confidence as an early learner. So look at this. This is September. Every row here is a student, and so you can see on average our students came to us in September having or knowing approximately 5 letters and sounds. By December, you can visually see some success here. By December, kids are picking it up. They are using those letters and sounds in their writing and in their reading, in their phonics, and we have approximately, an average student is approximately 20 letters and sounds. And again, we test this every month in the kindergarten, but by May, we will expect to see even more growth for our students and our beginning readers. Another great celebration that I want to share with you is some kindergarten writing progress. You know that the district is focusing, all of us elementary schools are focused on writing this year, and Hadfield is no different. Here's some examples of progress from September to January. This is one student. This is the same student's writing. You can see over here, they definitely have ideas displayed in a picture. Not exactly sure what that picture is. Maybe the lunchroom, I don't know, something, but it's good. There's details. They have picture ideas. They know that letters indicate communication. So you see they have some letters on each line, but we're not really able to decipher exactly what message they're sending quite yet. With our instruction and use of strategies and practice every single day with writing, you can see this same child now uses their picture, their ideas, to match the words you see down below. You can see they use labels to show which character this person is. You can see sentences. I like to play inside. I like to play with Bryson. So you can see specific ideas. This child understands that those letters make words. Those words put together make sentences. You see spacing, capital letters. You even see some revision down here of a student that's correcting. Maybe they knew that one was not a capitalized letter in that name, so they started again. So you can definitely see some great progress in writing as well. Next, we're going to go to map. map data for 2nd through 5th grade in reading. MAP, if that's new to you, is a measure of academic progress. It's an adaptive test on a screen taken one-on-one in one setting. This is a norm referenced measure of student growth over time. Looking at our data, we've set our end of the year goal here to move 50% or more of our students to be able to score at or above the 50th percentile ranking. All students tested are shown in our data, no matter when they start at Hadfield. As you're looking at these numbers, you can see that 2nd and 3rd grade are grade levels of concern when analyzing our reading map data. 4th and 5th graders are continuing to progress toward this goal of 50% or more at the 50th percentile or higher. I want to show you a chart that is exceptionally helpful when looking at MAP data. So MAP data, we take the MAP assessment 3 times a year. This is what's called a quadrant chart. This, I'm not going to stay here too long, but this is a great chart that helps us analyze data with both the lenses of achievement and growth together. This pink section right here indicates that children had low achievement, but also low growth from fall to winter. And I would say this category, the pink section of this quadrant chart, is probably our most concerning. So when we see students remaining in this pink section, that is a red flag to our team, our coaching team, our teacher team, our admin team, to really look at that child's intervention plan or IEP goals to figure out how are we going to continue growth in this child. As you look around through this chart, if this is the first time seeing this yellow section is also quite concerning. This is high achievement. The student is higher than the 50th percentile, but not growing at the rate we need them to. If a child stays in this category too long, we may lose that high achievement. So we don't want them to fall back. The green one up here, obviously that's our best category, right? That's a high achieving, high growth child. And that's exactly where we want really almost all of our kids up there. But this orange section over here is a celebration section of this quadrant chart too, because it shows that although there is low achievement, they're not scoring at that 50th percentile or more. They are growing faster, and they are closing the achievement gap by growing more than a year in that school year. All right, this is a tier 3 reading example that I would like to show you. This is a intervention program called Reading Recovery. It's a 20-week program where students work one-on-one in a pretty intensive intervention. Every move is really tracked by the teacher to analyze skills and where that child is. So how do you read all of this? I'm going to just show you. You can see that in September, when this child started, they were reading at a level 1. And if you look over to the right side of your screen, that's the correlation chart. This is a chart that the district uses to say if a child is on level or below or above. And this child was reading at a level 1, which is below the kindergarten level. We would like our kids, when we first test them that November, December, to be at about a 2. So this child was reading below kindergarten. That is more than or about a year behind where a first grader begins. Ending, this is the 17th week down here circled at the bottom. So there's 3 weeks to go before this intervention is ended. But you can see by this 17th week, the child is now reading at a level 13. So looking back over on the right side of your screen, that child is now scoring at about February, March of where all first graders should be, which means they are right on or even a touch above grade level. So by the time this intervention ends in 3 weeks, this child will be ready to go with same-aged peers exactly where they should be. So this is an example of something that our AGR coach is working on, and we are able to see some great growth with that. Okay, we're going to switch over to math. Math today, you see kindergarten, first, second, third. This is setting the same end of year goal. That's 50% of the student population scoring at or above the 50th percentile in terms of MAP. Later today, you will see a presentation from our new program. You'll review program data. That program data is focused on critical areas or essential standards for grade levels. This test that you're seeing right now, the MAP, is assessing all grade level standards. So two different data points, but two super valuable data points. Again, second and third grade is probably our areas of most concern in our building. And I do want to point out that reading does play a role in math MAP because second grade on, this test is not read to students. And I think that is valuable, worth noting that if a child is scoring lower achieving in reading, that the math may also show that in accordance to MAP. This is your fourth and fifth grade math data. You can see some growth in fourth grade and some steady in terms of MAP assessment. Again, you will have another data point with the Bridges presentation tonight, and I think that will be great for us to look at together on the same night. Here is an example of math intervention. This is an intervention given by our AGR math coach. She works with students in a 2-to-1 or even sometimes 3-to-1, and you can see in the different columns, you see column B and C, you see fall MAP growth to winter. You can see some of them have little growth in terms of percentile rankings and big growth in terms of numbers or the RIT score that they look at. MAP is progressive, so as the year moves on, the test gets harder. If you scored the same number, the same RIT score, unfortunately, they expect some growth along the way, so you do have to really increase in number growth to move up that percentile ranking. In the columns D and E, you see Bridges program data. The scale that we're looking at here is meeting and then approaching, strategic, and intensive as the lowest level. And you can see that her entire group was in the intensive range when she took them for intervention, and then slowly they are making some progress out of that intensive setting. So this is an example of MAP and Bridges for an intervention, a tier 3 intervention. That's tier 3 is that intervention that is pulled out of the classroom to provide struggling learners a little bit more. Now, there's one more thing I want to point out for our Bridges implementation is that I'm very, very, very impressed by the level of independence and critical thinking, the math vocabulary being heard by students in each math classroom this year is pretty phenomenal. I am impressed with what the students are doing right now. So I was curious about what our kindergarten data has looked like in the past. And I'm using kindergarten on purpose here because those are our learners that don't have as much of an achievement gap to start their learning career, right? So I pulled data from the last several years of our AGR presentations, and this is what I found. To the right of your screen, you can see that in 2020, 36% of our kindergartners were scoring at or above that 50th percentile. Same with 2021. 2022, we had 38% of them. And now look at right now. Right now, we have 59%. So right now, winter 2023, 59% of our kinder learners are scoring at or above the 50th percentile in the mid-year. And honestly, the only thing that has changed for this group of young learners is been the Bridges implementation. The curricular change is the only thing that I know that is different with the learning of our kids in kindergarten. So I just thought that was interesting. So I wanted to share that with you guys too. All right, now to the good stuff. The plans moving forward. We have a lot of year left, and we know, and we're excited, and we're, revved to make sure that we are making an impact with our students and our students' learning. So I've got some bullet points over here on the left, and I have also got some little boxes. The bullet points are the ones that I'll say that are stay the course. This is our plan. Let's keep doing it. And then the bullet points are something that is a little bit new or maybe more of an increased focus. So I'm going to just go through the list briefly. We are going to continue to develop students' self-regulation for learning. So when there are big behaviors, we can get them back into the learning classroom as fast as possible. We are going to continue with fidelity to instructional minutes. We will be able to close the achievement gap if we focus on instruction, less support and more instruction of students. We're going to continue with focused professional development, lots of professional learning and writing, our PCL learning and coaching. That's both in the classrooms with coaches as well as coaching of teams. Our AGR coaches are going to continue working with instruction and also with intervention. And we're going to continue to support staff with new curriculum and all the implementation of all the new. Those increased focus or the newness, we're going to add some professional development to continue also nurturing and a collaborative and positive school culture. As we grow together, we notice we need to do a better job of focusing on that and moving our people together. We did have an increase of funding this year with AGR pertaining to the merge. And this will allow for us to integrate another one of those approved AGR strategies, which would be small class sizes by hiring additional teachers to target Tier 2 student learning by providing additional group time and some purposeful practice for students. So we were going to monitor that heavily if we can find qualified candidates to come in to our teaching team. We're also going to focus on minutes, on the learning spaces, and the targeted skills for students in second and third grade with intervention plans and or IEPs. Focusing on what we are trying to change with our students and their learning and the skill development will help us be more purposeful in our adult actions, as well as helping the kids know their own goals. And when we know our goals, we're usually always a little bit more focused. So this is a great time to stop for questions. We will be there with you on the 7th, but I had to share my favorite picture that symbolizes our merge. You've got the Husky, Hadfield Husky, with the Whittier Wildcat. That's Wayne, and he's holding hands with and passing the rein, welcoming the new Hadfield Hedgehog. That's Hedgie, and we're just ready for questions and know that we are growing into a really beautiful community over here. But we'll see you on the 7th. And with that, thank you.